Hello. I'm back here to see what ChatGPT has to write for me today, though I'm going to try to be more specific in what I ask for. So, write a narrative where a fairy princess is trying to get into the sword practice room. She's obstinate. I should look that up. Okay, it was obstinate without an N at the end for some reason. A double N, I mean 2 N's, there's only 1 N. Okay. She's obstinate, headstrong, that's a classic one. But is okay. Write me a narrative where a fairy princess is trying to get into the sword practice room. She's obstinate, headstrong, and she wants to train. Should we give her a name or should I let ChatGPT decide? I think ChatGPT could do this. Alrighty. In the enchanted realm of Elysia, where magical creatures thrived and mystical wonders abounded, there lived a fairy princess named Seraphina. Seraphina was a character in another story from ChatGPT, so they definitely reuse names. Unlike other fairy princesses who reveled in dancing among flowers and fluttering their delicate wings, Seraphina possessed a rebellious spirit and an unwavering determination. She had grown tired of the mundane routines of royal life and sought a path less traveled, one that challenged her both mentally and physically. Deep within the palace grounds, there stood a magnificent sword practice room, where skilled warriors honed their combat skills. Seraphina had heard tales of their prowess and longed to join their ranks. However, her parents, King Oberon and Queen Titania, had forbidden her from venturing into the room, deeming it too dangerous for a fairy princess. But Seraphina was obstinate and headstrong. She believed that her wings and diminutive size did not define her abilities. Oh, that's nice. With a determined glimmer in her eyes, she devised a plan to infiltrate the forbidden room. In the dead of night, when the palace lay shrouded in darkness and the moon bathed the land in an ethereal glow, Seraphina prepared for her clandestine mission. Clad in a midnight blue gown, Seraphina tiptoed through the silent corridors, her heart pounding with excitement. She had ensured that every guard was occupied with their duties, allowing her to slip past undetected. As she approached the door to the sword practice room, a surge of adrenaline coursed through her veins. Gently, she turned the ornate doorknob, her breath caught in anticipation. The door creaked open, and she stepped into the room, illuminated by the soft light of the moon filtering through the windows. Rows of gleaming swords hung on the walls, each telling its own tale of triumph and valor. Seraphina's eyes widened with awe as she beheld the magnificent sight. Without hesitation, she selected a slender sword and unsheathed it. Gripping the hilt with determination, she began to Sorry, that's the cat. Gripping the hilt with determination, she began to swing the weapon with an unexpected grace. Her wings fluttered with each swift movement, guiding her through the steps she had observed countless times from the shadows. Time seemed to stand still as Seraphina lost herself in the rhythm of the dance, her body fluid and agile. With each swing and thrust, she felt a newfound strength surge through her, as if the sword itself recognized her indomitable spirit. Though her body was delicate, her will was unyielding, and she vowed to prove her worth to herself and her doubters. Unbeknownst to Seraphina, her clandestine training session had not gone unnoticed. The palace seneschal, a wise and observant old gnome named Barnaby, had caught wind of her secret exploits. Although he understood Seraphina's desires, he worried for her safety. As Seraphina twirled and parried, a soft cough echoed through the room, startling her. She froze, sword poised mid-air, and she turned to find Barnaby standing at the threshold, his eyes twinkling with a mix of amusement and concern. "Princess Seraphina," Barnaby began, his voice tinged with gentle reproach. "Your courage and determination are admirable, but such pursuits are not without risk. I implore you to reconsider." Seraphina's eyes glistened with a mixture of defiance and vulnerability. "Barnaby, I understand the risks, but I cannot be content with a life confined to frivolous tasks. I want to prove that fairies can be warriors too. I want to show the world the strength that lies within me." Barnaby regarded her for a moment, his gaze filled with a mixture of pride. Ooh, and that's ready for the next section. Continue the narrative from that last little clause. And what shall she do, or what shall he do? I mean, I think with the gnome, they're going to make a deal. I don't know why, but gnomes are fun. So they should have he seems nice. And Seraphina. Okay. Seraphina tries to convince Barnaby that convince Barnaby that she can do it. Be a swordswoman. She can do it, be a swordswoman. After asking questions to gauge her sincerity, Barnaby makes a wager with her. Though I think that's more of a goblin thing, but I'm not really sure. Makes a wager with her that if she can beat him in a month of practice, he won't tell anyone else what she's doing. Barnaby is not a particularly good swordsman, but he is pretty strong. Okay. All right. Continue the narrative from his gaze filled with a mixture of pride. Seraphina tries to convince Barnaby that she can do it, be a swordswoman. After asking questions to gauge her sincerity, Barnaby makes a wager with her that if she can beat him if she can beat him in a month of practice, he won't tell anyone else what she's doing. Barnaby is not a particularly good swordsman, but he is pretty strong. All right, let's see. Okay. Barnaby regarded her for a moment, his gaze filled with a mixture of pride and concern. He had been tasked with protecting Seraphina since her birth and had grown fond of her independent spirit. Barnaby sighed, realizing that his words alone wouldn't dissuade her from pursuing her dreams. "Princess Seraphina," Barnaby said, his voice tinged with caution. "I understand your desires, but I worry for your safety. Swordplay requires more than just determination. It demands discipline and experience. Are you prepared to face the challenges that lie ahead?" Seraphina straightened her posture, meeting Barnaby's gaze with unwavering determination. "I am, Barnaby. I know it won't be easy, but I'm willing to put in the effort and learn. Please, give me a chance to prove myself." Barnaby studied her earnest expression, searching for the truth in her words. After a moment of contemplation, he decided to make her a proposition. "Very well, Princess Seraphina. I will offer you an opportunity, but only under certain conditions. If you can defeat me in a month of rigorous practice, I promise not to disclose your secret training to anyone else. However, if I win, you must agree to cease this perilous endeavor and return to your duties as a princess." A spark of excitement lit up Seraphina's eyes, and she extended her hand towards Barnaby. "Agreed! I accept your wager, Barnaby. Let the training begin." Over the following weeks, the sword practice room became Seraphina's sanctuary. Each day under Barnaby's watchful eye, she honed her skills tirelessly. Barnaby, though not the most skillful swordsman, possessed immense strength and experience that he used to challenge Seraphina's determination. They sparred tirelessly. Again, using the same word there. Their swords clashing and echoing through the room as Seraphina learned the intricacies of swordplay. She showed remarkable progress, her nimble wings aiding in her swift movements and evasive maneuvers. Barnaby pushed her to her limits, testing her endurance and resilience. And Seraphina met every challenge head-on. Beyond the physical training, Barnaby also imparted his wisdom, teaching her the importance of strategy, focus, and discipline. He encouraged her to draw strength not only from her determination, but also from her inherent fairy magic, harnessing it to augment her swordplay. As the days turned into weeks, Seraphina's skills grew, her once hesitant movements transforming into fluidity and precision. I'm really sorry about the cat. She had become a formidable swordswoman, surprising even Barnaby with her progress. Their training sessions became a dance of mutual respect and determination, both pushing each other to their limits. On the final day of their wager, Seraphina and Barnaby faced each other one last time. The room filled with anticipation as their swords clashed, their movements a testament to the journey they had undertaken together. Seraphina's determination burned bright, her wings beating with fervor. In the end, it was Seraphina who emerged victorious, her determination and newfound skills overpowering Barnaby's strength. Gasping for breath, Barnaby lowered his sword, a proud smile playing on his lips. "Princess Seraphina," he said, a twinkle in his eyes, "you have surpassed my expectations. Your commitment, bravery, and growth are remarkable. You have earned my respect and the right to pursue your dreams." Tears of joy welled up in Seraphina's eyes as she sheathed her sword. "Thank you, Barnaby. Your guidance and faith in me have meant the world. I promise to carry the lessons you taught me and wield my skills responsibly." And so Seraphina's secret training as a swordswoman remained hidden, but her newfound strength and then we're ready for the next part. I don't know. I wanted to see some of the training days instead of kind of a summary where they just go over it. So continue the narrative from that section. Show Seraphina gleaming. Ooh, so happy that she falls asleep with tremendous ease that night. The next day, she goes to breakfast, and her mother, the queen, asks if she has found a young, handsome gentleman to give her favor to. And then this is what makes Seraphina the most embarrassed. Even though she is already 19, she doesn't want to think of those things. End the conversation with Seraphina and her mother both upsetting each other. Okay. So, continue the narrative from but her newfound strength and show Seraphina so happy that she falls asleep with tremendous ease that night. The next day she goes to breakfast and her mother, the queen, asks if she has found a young handsome gentleman to give her favor. This is what makes Seraphina the most embarrassed. Even though she's already 19, she doesn't want to think of those things. End the conversation with Seraphina and her mother both upsetting each other. And so Seraphina's secret training as a swordswoman remained hidden, but her newfound strength and confidence radiated from her. That night, as she lay in her bed, exhaustion mingled with a sense of accomplishment. Seraphina fell into a deep and peaceful sleep, her dreams filled with visions of her future as a skilled swordswoman. The following morning, Seraphina's contentment carried her into the breakfast hall. They always have a breakfast hall. As she took her seat at the grand table, adorned with a feast fit for royalty, her mother, Queen Titania, cast a curious gaze upon her. "Seraphina, my dear," the queen began, her voice laced with an air of expectation. "Have you found a young, handsome gentleman who has captured your heart? Surely a fairy princess of your age should be considering such matters." The question struck Seraphina like an arrow, her cheeks turning a shade of crimson. She fumbled with her silverware, her mind racing for an appropriate response. Despite being 19 years old, she had little interest in romantic pursuits, her heart fully dedicated to her newfound passion for swordplay. "Mother," Seraphina stammered, her voice barely above a whisper, "I have been preoccupied with other matters, ones that hold more significance to me. Love and romance are not my focus at the moment." Queen Titania's face contorted with a mix of surprise and disappointment, her expectations clashing with her daughter's words. Seraphina, my dear, it is important for a princess to consider matters of the heart. A union with a suitable suitor could strengthen our kingdom and bring joy to your life. A wave of frustration surged through Seraphina's veins, challenging her otherwise calm demeanor. She lifted her gaze to meet her mother's eyes, determination flashing within her own. Mother, I understand your concerns, but I am not ready to embark on such a path, Seraphina declared, her voice gaining strength. I have discovered a love for swordplay, a passion that brings me fulfillment and purpose. It is through honing my skills that I wish to contribute to our kingdom and find my own happiness. She already let the secret out. Queen Titania's brows furrowed, her disappointment deepening. Seraphina, you must understand the responsibilities that come with your position. It is not solely about personal fulfillment. You have a duty to our people. And that includes finding a suitable match. Tears of frustration welled up in Seraphina's eyes, her voice tinged with a mix of sadness and defiance. I am aware of my responsibilities, Mother, but please let me follow my own path, one that speaks to my heart and allows me to make a difference in my own way. The conversation reached an impasse, tension filling the air between mother and daughter. Seraphina's heart ached with a sense of longing to be understood and accepted for who she was, not merely for fulfilling societal expectations. In a final act of defiance, Seraphina pushed back her chair, her voice filled with a mix of determination and hurt. I need time to find my own path, Mother. I hope that one day you will see the strength and purpose in the choices I have made. Without waiting for a response, Seraphina stormed out of the breakfast hall, leaving behind a bewildered Queen Titania. Their disagreement lingered, the chasm between their expectations and Seraphina's dreams widening. Alone in her chambers, Seraphina gazed out of the window, her eyes fixed on the distant horizon. She understood that pursuing her passion came with sacrifices, and she was willing to face the consequences, even if it meant challenging the expectations of her own mother. With a resolute sigh, Seraphina gathered her strength, and her mind filled with determination. Ooh. All right, I think I'm going to leave it there. But I'm excited. I'm kind of working with ChatGPT this time. Kind of getting the groove. You got to be really specific with what you want them to do, or what you want it to do. It's not really a person. Yeah. So I hope you enjoyed. I hope it's not too cliche. I mean, this is ChatGPT, and I'm also thinking of cliche stories because it makes me feel sweet things. Yeah. Good night.